Hello.
Hi.
Finally, you didn't cough.
Yeah, I think that's why we had to delete the previous one, or like it didn't work out because they're like, yep, nope, we're not gonna have you coughing on every episode. That was the government.
Yeah, that was the government doing that shit. We started recording minutes ago, but then in the middle of like recording, we were really about to start, weren't we?
Yeah.
Talking
You were
about the
about to-
murder.
The murder I have no idea about. So my reactions to this will be very, very genuine. I have absolutely no clue what we'll be talking about. And it's just murder. Yeah, that's all I know.
Completely my fault because I completely forgot. I was assuming that I told you already, and then earlier when we started recording and Gabby mentioned that she had no idea, and I was like, oh.
Right.
What a great podcast partner.
Exactly. No, that was why. Because I messaged you on Facebook and I kept asking, what are we going to be talking about? Because I thought I was going to do a bit of research about it. And you just kept saying true crime, murder. Dude, this is so generic. Like, what is
Oh my
this?
God. That's why you kept asking. I just thought that you forgot about our topic. And then I was just like, oh, she forgot about it again.
No, because I absolutely had no idea.
Makes sense now.
Yes, it does.
By the way, that's Gabby. She's in Singapore, and I'm Kalai, and I'm in the Philippines.
And you're listening to Creepy Conversations with Kalai and Gabby.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't say welcome. Anyway, welcome.
Anyway, I'm going to talk about Chilling Adventures of Sabrina again.
Because they just released...
It's out. Part 3 is out.
Yeah.
Yesterday or like...
But I haven't seen anything.
Whatever. They just released it.
Yesterday.
And because it's a long weekend, I started watching it.
What?
I only watched like the first episode. And like right off the first episode, there's already a steamy scene between Prudence and Cousin Ambrose. And
I'm so ready for that.
Yes, it's like Italian chef's kiss on the hand. Like, mwah, they're so beautiful.
Oh my God.
They're honestly the most beautiful couple on Netflix right now.
They're the reason why I watch Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, to be honest.
Yeah,
because
they're both
I know
hot.
people are gonna hate me when I say this, but I'm not really a fan of Kiernan Shipka. Did I say her name right? Anyway. No, I don't
Anyway, she probably
like
won't
how
hear
she
us.
does. Yeah. I don't like how she tries to act raunchy. It doesn't suit her. And it turns me off, to be honest.
I think because she's a child actress and like she's still a kid in our heads. Because she was the kid in Mad Men.
Is she?
She is.
Oh my God.
That's why it's so weird.
Makes
also,
sense.
they introduced a new character, and it's like, I got so excited when I heard the name because it's my favorite. I'm not going to spoil, but it's
Don't
my
tell me
favorite.
anything.
She is my favorite real life witch, but she's a character in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So
Okay.
y'all better watch out. She's in episode 1 already. And also, I don't mean to objectify anyone, but the amount of shirtless men is so like, thank you to the director. Unnecessary, yes, but also it's very appreciated. It's like watching Teen Wolf, but like better story.
I've never seen that. Okay,
Ooh,
but that's good.
Yeah. It's not good. Teen Wolf isn't good, but it's fun.
Oh my God. It sounds like you were invested before, like you watched it, and then it just...
Dude, my sister and I used to watch it because we love Styles. He's one of the characters, and he's the only reason why we watch.
At least you're not like my sister who was like, I'm gonna read 50 Shades of Grey because people are so into it. And then she started reading, but it was like, this book is shit. But then she's also like, I'm already here. I started, so she finished it. Not just the book, the entire series.
Oh, that's how I feel about the Twilight movies. It's like,
I'm already here.
Yeah, but also Taylor Lautner's abs.
It's too much for me.
Really?
Yes. It looks like buns, like pandesal.
That's true, though. But, like, he's only cute
Yeah, he
in
is.
the Twilight movies. Outside
This
of
is
the
what
Twilight.
the podcast... is what the podcast is about now. Talking about men.
What is happening? Let's
Can
get to.
No, wait. Before we start that, can I just give out a reason why all our other episodes are weird?
Oh, right.
Because people are going to hear, especially for the possessions one, and I'm going to keep repeating that because that's what I was recently listening to since we just finished editing that. But yeah, we mentioned like, oh, we're going to, what do you call this? We're going to post this. What is wrong with me?
We were wind up last night. This is why we're like this.
Halloween. And then it's almost Feb. And also we recorded that in 2018.
Yeah.
It's not very relevant or like up to date, but whatever.
Yeah, it isn't up to date at all. But I don't think we mentioned anything about whatever. Just listen to it. It's the episode before this.
Yeah, just so you know, if things don't make sense in that certain episode, 99% of the chance is it's because we recorded that way back.
And we usually pre-record because our editor is still a student. And we're both busy because Gabby works a full-time job and I have
2 jobs.
A part-time and a full-time job. So, yeah, we don't really have time to do, like, what do you call that if it's, like, up to date?
Recent?
Yep. That's the one. That's the word. We can't do, like, recent recordings because, like, it's hard for us to do it. But we're trying, you guys.
But I mean, reasons. Enough about us making excuses. Let's get this show on the road.
So this episode, I'm going to be talking about the jar murderer. So it's going to be our first episode to talk about a murder that didn't happen in the Philippines, because we're owning the thing about being an Asian true crime podcast or Asian horror story. Like, what do we call ourselves? Anything that's surrounding Asian shit. That's Asian. Right? Basically, we're embracing our Asianness. So this is going to be the first episode that's outside of the Philippines, and it's located since it was just Lunar New Year this weekend.
It still is.
It's located in Hong Kong. I got my sources from a Medium article written by Lisa Marie Facua and worldofbuzz.com.
You did not sound sure.
Her last name is spelled Fuqua. So how do you pronounce that? Facua?
I have no idea. Fuqua.
I don't know.
Whoever knows how to read that, please tweet it to us.
Yeah.
We are shit at this.
Creepy combos. So yeah, the location of not really the murder, but where it started happening is in Mongkok and in Jimsa or TST. It's known as TST in Hong Kong. It's basically the shopping and nightlife district in Hong Kong. It's located in southern Kowloon, Hong Kong. It's spelled as Kowloon, but I was searching it on YouTube and it's pronounced as Kowloon. Yeah.
Wow.
Trivia. If ever you want to go to Hong Kong. Also, I've never been to Hong Kong. That's why
I haven't either.
Yeah, that's why I'm so interested in like doing pieces from that place, because I only can imagine. One of my favorite movies is like the setting is in Hong Kong, which is why the interest. Anyway, what am I doing?
They actually have interesting murder cases.
Yeah, murder cases in general.
Yeah.
But also, if ever, like, the place TST sounds familiar to you, if you've been watching the news a lot or if you've been on Twitter a lot, it's where the Hong Kong protests are, where, you know, the police released tear gas on the protesters. That's where it happened. So, yeah, that's why TST sounds familiar. Anyway, let's go back in time. Whatever happening in Hong Kong right now is horrible. I hope like everything is gonna be okay soon. But let's go back in time and talk about something else that's a different horrible event back in 1982. And the location of this entire place is, well, basically it's where that's the location. Just imagine.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't know how to.
Every time you say, I know she doesn't know what to say.
Yes, that's why I had to pause and like, your brain's like all over the place. Let's
I'm
go
sorry.
back to. I'm so sorry, you guys. On February 3, 1982, 21-year-old Chan Fung Lan got into a cab after some drinks with her sister and her friend. By the way, if you have friends that you think are drunk, make sure they go home safely. Like, make sure they're riding on just make sure they're safe.
Yeah.
And she wasn't really feeling too good. So sometime in between the drive, Chan asked the driver to pull over, and she opened the door and vomited on the street. And then, you know how it is when you're drunk, your brain is kind of scrambled, like how our brains are now.
How our brains are normally.
Yeah. So she asked the driver to turn around and bring her back to TST to where her sister and her friends were. But then, so the driver turned around and they were on their way back to TST. But then, minutes later, she changed her mind and then asked the driver to turn back around to send her back home.
Oh my
and
God.
then, you know, if you're a normal person, like if you were the driver and you're a normal person and you're starting to get annoyed with all of these requests, the normal thing to do is to ask your passenger to get out, right? Or
Yeah.
like whatever, just get out of my car because you're wasting my time or whatever. But also, aren't they getting paid for that? Anyway, if you're a taxi driver, let us know how you feel about shit like that. Anyway, so the thing that Chan Fong Lan asking the driver to like go here and then go here and then back here again, that pissed the 27-year-old driver Lam Kor-wan. What he did, where in his rage he pulled over the taxi and strangled Chan with a piece of electric wire that he had with him. And then he went home with the dead body in the backseat, you know, very fucking bold and very stupid, and dragged the body past the sleeping guard and then kept the body. He shoved the body under his sofa. Again, bold and stupid.
There was a guard.
Yeah.
I don't care if he was sleeping. It doesn't matter. He could wake up any time. How
Yeah.
are you gonna explain that to him? It's like, no,
Exactly.
it's not what it looks like.
The dude is very bold and stupid. And you know what else is...
He has issues.
No, what else? He lives with his entire family.
Perfect.
His mom, dad, and he sleeps with his brother in the same room.
And where did he put the body again?
Under his sofa in his room.
Wow.
Where his brother is sleeping.
Wow.
And everyone in their family can sleep so well. I would probably wake up to, like, if you're dragging somebody that's not silent, or I don't know, maybe it was a different time.
They're probably not light sleepers, but
yeah.
Oh my God, wow. He has more than just issues.
Yeah.
He needs help.
He's crazy. And so what he did was that he waited for his family to wake up and leave for work. And then once the coast was clear, he took the body out on a plastic covered floor and then used an electric saw to cut her body up and took photos of everything. And then he wrapped the body parts and threw them into the Shingmun River in New Territories in Hong Kong, obviously. And then she was found in 7 separate pieces all over the river. Her body washed up a week later, and in different days they would like, oh, I found a part of the body and then another part of the body, and like almost every day for 7 days, like they found different parts of her body.
Did they recover the whole thing, you think?
What thing?
Like all her body parts, were they able to
It didn't say. I
all?
also actually tried to search for that. I think they did, but they didn't really specify if there were. I mean, they would probably say if there was there was a missing part.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that was actually just the first of a series of murders he would commit. So I'll give you a quick background about... Shit, what was his name again? About Lam Kor-wan. If you're planning to be a serial killer, you're just going to be forgetful anyway, so don't do it. So, sorry. Anyway, so a quick background of Lam Kor-wan. He was a Malaysian born. I don't really know what his real ethnicity is. They just say he was born in Malaysia where he was abused, but there's not much about his background. It just says that he was abused by his father, and then he grew up watching his father beat up his mom as well. Like, so basically his mom gets the same treatment as he does. And then his family moved to Hong Kong, but he still couldn't make friends, and he ended up being a loner throughout his teenage years, where in the article it made it sound like it's a bad thing, but I know a lot of loners and they're not that bad.
Hi.
I mean, not just us. We have, like, I know people who are absolute loners, but they have online friends.
But I think it also has like something to do with
who he is,
that,
like,
plus his previous experience.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I think the reason why he doesn't really value women that much, because he grew up, his dad was beating up his mom, like, really not really basically treating his mom like a normal person, like an equal person. And so he grew up throughout his teenage years. He didn't have any friends, and I think that does something to you if you already have issues. Plus, you don't have anybody to talk to. It kind of creates like an inner conflict. And then,
if you want like friends, but it doesn't happen for you, it's frustrating.
Yeah, but do you think that his friends already had like a feeling? You know how the instincts work. Like, they already get the heebie-jeebies whenever he's around.
I don't know. But also because it's a different time, and the way they think wouldn't be how we think now.
Exactly.
So,
or maybe also because he's not originally from Hong Kong. Maybe they treated him as an outcast.
That could be it too.
Oh my god. I mean, I kind of feel a little bit of sympathy for him, but also dude, don't kill people. Anyway, back to him. As an adult, he worked night shift as a taxi driver, and when he wasn't around people, he would enjoy taking pictures of his porn magazines, which is...
What?
Yeah, crazy, because he's basically taking pictures of pictures. Why do you need to take pictures of a magazine?
Probably didn't have like... Was there a scanner during that time? How old is a scanner anyway? He probably didn't have access to that. So it's like, yeah, I'll just take photos.
It's so
I'm
weird.
making up excuses for him.
When I read about that, I was like, why would you take pictures?
Yeah, I find that weird
already.
Too.
And he hides them in like a metal box, because he shares a room with his brother, so he hides that in like a metal box.
That just gives him more evidence that he owns porn. Don't you think? Right?
Or maybe he acted like it was money.
Why?
I don't know.
More questions and no answers. Oh my god.
Anyway, and then when he got bored of this hobby, the taking pictures of pictures, he moved on to a little bit of a more perverted act. So he would bring his Polaroid camera and bring it into women's cubicles and start taking photos of women under the cubicle doors. But what would happen is that women would eventually chase him, because that's not normal.
How did he even manage to do that?
Maybe like he looks for cubicles that don't really have a lot of people, because that's 1982. I don't think the world was as populated as it is now.
That is true.
So maybe he could still like find, or I don't know, maybe he's just bold and stupid, like I said earlier.
That seems to be the case.
Which is like, also, most psychopaths, they have low logic.
He doesn't seem to understand the repercussions of his actions.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't care.
Yeah. He's not functioning like a normal human, which is like, what the fuck is normal human? But...
But you know what I mean.
You know what I mean. So yeah, and what happened was that it's not really that smart, because women would chase him after him.
But he'd still do it anyway.
Yeah, but he would still do it anyway, But he also got bored of that hobby, which is why he moved on.
He sounds like us. Like we start a hobby and then we're like, I want a new one.
Yeah, but I find it funny that he got bored of being chased around. Like, I would say that I would probably say that, oh, I'm not doing it anymore because, I don't know, I get caught
That
all
is
the
true.
time, instead of saying I got bored.
Got bored. Maybe not being chased, like just taking pictures in general.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think of that.
It's probably the chasing that kept him going. It's like, oh, this is exciting.
Yeah. And then eventually he was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So he then moved on to what was his new hobby, murdering women. So where were we last? Oh yeah, he took photos of the Chan Feng Lan's body. Yeah, the separated pieces.
Oh shit, so he did it after he chopped her up.
The whole time he took photos of it while she was dead, while she was still, I don't want to say it because it sounds so insensitive, but while she was still intact, up until she was in pieces, he took photos of it the entire time. And then
documentation is key.
Yeah, and again, he hid it in his magical stash box under his bed, the metal box.
Oh my god.
And now, like, for the Gen Zers who are listening, aka the editor of this podcast, in 1982, in order for you to see the photos that you take, you have to have them developed. So
yes.
Initially, the photo technician was like, are they called photo technician?
I honestly don't know what they're called. You can't say the developers.
Yeah,
that's something different.
Yeah, let's just call them the photo technician. He questioned him about the photos, and then he was like, oh, I'm a lab technician at a university, and the photos are for medical research. And the photo technician was like, okay, I think I'll believe in you. So
oh my god, I don't even think it's gonna look anything remotely scientific, because that is such, I think that is so much gore.
But also, this is like in 1982, where serial killers weren't really that is true. And especially in Hong Kong, Lam Kor-wan is one of the 2 serial killers in Hong Kong. So that's not common there. So he was probably thinking of the most like logical or most acceptable thing rather than thinking that, oh, this is something else. So like, I think his brain was also trying to protect him.
Yeah.
Than be traumatized.
Man. Oh god. Anyway,
and then the following months would be the nightmare in everyone in Hong Kong, following 6 months, because he would find new victims, because he's a taxi driver. He would do the same thing. He would like drive around and then find a victim. So his next victim was Chan Wan Kit, a 31-year-old lady. Again, he would do the same thing, kill her, bring her back to his home, and then take photos of her body. And then...
Does he have a profile? Like, what types of women what were his victims?
None
besides being women.
Yeah, none that was mentioned. It was just... I think it was just who's there when he needs them to be.
Oh my god. Like, when he just feels like it?
Mm-hmm. And... the second murder, or like for his following murders, he was actually like completely planned it out. He bought surgical equipment and he bought formaldehyde, which is like, for those who aren't familiar with formaldehyde, which is like crazy for me because everyone should be familiar with what formaldehyde is. It's a chemical to preserve dead bodies. If, those are the things that you see in the chem labs in your school where there's like an animal that's floating in liquid. So that liquid is formaldehyde. And then,
what for?
Why
would he need that for? Okay.
So, after murdering his second victim, he defiled it. He had sex with the body and then dismembered her. It was the first time he ever had sex. Ever.
Wow.
And he also performed necrophilia on his next victim, Leun Sao Wan, 29 years old. By the way, Chan Wan Kit, her body was found in a rice bag near Tai Hang River in Hong Kong Island. And then the next one, the same thing, found in a rice bag in Tai Hang Road in Hong Kong Island. And then his fourth victim, the last one, was 17 years old, Long Wai Sum, who had attended a dinner with her classmates. She didn't want to join them for a second round, so they hailed a taxi for her to ensure she got home safely. But unfortunately, she got stuck with him. And of course, she never got home that night, and she was found in Tai Hang Road in Hong Kong Island. So he kind of eventually found a way to dispose of their bodies, as for his next victims, they were all thrown in a rice bag and then in the same road. So he kind of found
it's
thing.
kind of like his signature now.
Yeah, his signature now.
This is what I'm gonna do. Does the road or does the place have any significance to him? Why there?
I think it's a silent road during the night because
so then it's easy for him to
dispose the body.
Yeah.
And then he does the same thing. He takes them home and then does the shitty things to them and then disposes of the body the next day, or whenever he feels like he doesn't need them anymore, or when it starts to stink.
What? So then that means it stays a bit in his house, dismembered and shit, before he throws it away. Oh my god. And then his family has no
just
idea.
There. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't think he keeps them for a long time because the stink,
it's gonna smell.
It's gonna smell within 24 hours. 40
Is that what the formaldehyde is for?
You'll find out.
Oh my god.
So in August 17, 1982, a day before your birthday, but you weren't born in 1982 yet.
Of course not.
A manager of the picture developing company and Kodak, and a Kodak shop in Hong Kong.
He goes to the same place to develop the pictures.
Yep.
Idiot.
The manager told the police that a man had come in with a roll of film that depicted female bodies in various states of dismemberment. So the photo technician actually, because when he took the photo of the last victim, Leon Wai Sum, he burned the thigh with a flash. I don't know how that works because I don't know how the cameras in 1982 works. But yeah, he burned the thigh with a flash. And then the photo technician recognized the burn in the thigh as the same burn from when you get with the flash. So that's when he realized that it wasn't, what he says it was, the medical thing. He's a medical student. This is something else. And then he saw pictures of severed breasts. And then the technician believed that some were close up of body parts, and then they looked staged as if for pornographic means. So that's when he realized that these weren't, what it is. These weren't casual photos, but they were something else. So the police came, they waited for Lam Kor-wan to come pick up his photos. And then he said that they were photographs taken by a friend who worked on a ship, and they were like, okay, let's go to your friend because this isn't yours. Let's arrest you.
Take us.
Yeah. And also, aren't you concerned that your friends are taking photos of these?
Why do you think this is okay?
Yeah. Why is your friend, whatever this is? And then eventually, because he doesn't have any friends, nobody came. And then, so they took him back to his parents' home, which was in Chui Chow Street, which is still existing until now, by the way.
Oh my god.
Where his family is sitting down to, they were eating dinner. So they performed a search of the residence, and they found in the bedroom that Lam shared with his brother, inside the box were the photographs of the dismembered body parts. And they also located videotapes of the dismemberment. But they also found Tupperware containers that held female vaginas and severed breasts.
Oh my god, that's what the formaldehyde is for.
Yes, all preserved in formaldehyde, which is
that is so sick.
Exactly. Why would you keep them? Anyway, the police initially thought that the whole family was involved because they couldn't believe that this was just the work of one person. Yeah. Aside from the fact that, serial killers weren't really that known at that time, but also because of the severity of the murders, they couldn't believe that it was just one person who was doing all of it, especially because he sleeps with his brother in his... No, what?
That sounds wrong,
in the same room
yes.
with his brother.
Yes.
So, but then eventually he confessed that it was just him. He told the officers that his family had nothing to do with it. And then he explained what happened with the first victim, what caused him to snap, and like what triggered him to do that. And then eventually...
But did he have like reasons for the others? No, right?
No, he just felt like it. Like he liked the feeling that he killed the girl, the first victim.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, he started planning, and he confessed to all of it that the next 3 victims were all planned. Like,
he wanted it to happen.
I don't think he stalked his victims, but he was like, what's the term for that?
Opportunist?
Yeah, opportunistic killer. So he waits for like the perfect time and then takes the victim. And then when he was questioned if he felt bad for what he did, he said no. Mm-hmm. And he said that women were useless to society.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I don't want to comment on that because we all know that's shit.
Mm-hmm. Which also, I think it goes to show how much the abuse that his dad caused, like what the effects were after, because he has like zero respect for women because of what happened. And then in April 8, 1983, he was put on trial for 4 counts of murder. And what bothered the people even more was that, aside from the fact that this was such an insane case, like they've never heard of it, like, you know, he chopped up women and he took photos of it and kept body parts to himself.
Where did he hide the body parts, and how come his brother never saw it?
Inside his magical metal box under his bed. You know,
he
where
has
he's
4
attached.
Vaginas and boobs in there.
Yeah.
How can you hide that?
It must be like a huge box, because it was an ammunition. It was an ammunition box, which he turned into his pervert kit.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, what bothered people even more was that he really didn't feel sorry at all for any of his crimes, which goes to show that he's a fucking psychopath.
Exactly. But shit.
Yeah, and then the trial lasted 3 weeks. He was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to death by hanging. And then on August 29, 1984, his death sentence was commuted to life imprisonment because Hong Kong abolished death penalty.
Death penalty.
And he still is currently being held in a maximum security in Shek Pik prison on Lantau Island. And while in prison...
He's alive?
He's still alive. And he looks
I'm having goosebumps
as fuck. You'll get goosebumps later. I have something else to tell you. While in prison, Lam was ordered to speak with a psychiatrist, because that's how it usually is. If you're not found as mentally insane, you're usually ordered to talk to a psychiatrist. And one of his sessions, he said that he ate part of the intestine of one of the victims, and claims that his motivation wasn't just sexual, but it was God who told him to kill the victims, which is bullshit.
Oh my god, okay.
I don't think that's real. Like, I think he's just old now and wants to get out of prison, so he's just saying that, oh, it's not my fault. Like, I'm not really this crazy. It was God who told me to do that.
He is delusional, and if he is hearing voices in his head, that's probably it. So there's really something wrong with him.
Yeah, but I don't think he hears anything in his head. Maybe now that he's old, but when he was young, I feel like he purely knew.
He just wanted it.
Yeah, that what he did was wrong, because he hid everything. And even though he didn't do a good job of hiding shit, but still. Also, his family tried to sell the flat where all the murder happened and all the shit happened.
No one wants to buy that. Oh my god.
Yes, and they're still living there until now.
What would you do if that kind of happened to you? Like, you live in a place and one of your family members is batshit crazy, and then you find out that's what's been going on. Would you still live in your place?
No. But what happens with his family is that, like, you know, Hong Kong changed a lot, and I think they're having financial issues. So yeah,
they don't really have a choice.
Yeah, they don't really have a choice but to stay there. And oh my god, I totally forgot. With one of the victims, the second victim, Chan Wan Kit, he actually talked to the victim because she rode the car at 9:30 p.m. She tied the victim, talked to her up until 4 a.m. until she fell asleep, and then he strangled her before he killed her.
Wow.
Which is like, it's extra crazy because he got to know the victim, but he still killed her.
And then he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't feel anything.
It didn't even humanize his victim. Like, the fact that
Yep.
he talked to them, like, it didn't even you know, because usually how killers are, that's how they're caught, because they feel some type of way for their victims, but he didn't feel anything.
He's a real psychopath.
Real fucking psychopath who's now rotting in jail, and he's really ugly now.
But I also have a feeling, because he waited for her to sleep, he is probably someone who doesn't have a lot of strength.
Oh.
No. Like,
Yeah.
physically, he would rather that his victim don't struggle, because it's probably like he phically cannot control that.
That's true.
So he would rather they be in a weak state.
What a fucking dweeb.
Right?
Oh my god. I just want to make fun of him, but I don't have that much information to make fun of him. I want to fucking bully him because he's such a loser.
I googled him, and one of his nicknames is the Rainy Night Butcher. Do you think he gets his urges on cold weather, like when it's rainy?
Probably. Ew.
Ew. But he looks gross.
He does. And oh god, what a loser that you have to kill somebody to get laid. And how old was he? He was 27 years old at the time.
That is the prime time.
Can you not pay for a sex worker to sleep with you? You can't.
Yeah,
you
that's
can't
what
even
normal
do
people
that.
do.
I don't think. Oh god, I don't even think that he gets it
Up.
for people that are alive.
Oh my.
Which is why he kills them.
This reminds me of that forum I read in Reddit. I think you're the one who sent it to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thread about psychopaths, and there's this one guy who is actually a psychopath. He sees a shrink every once in a while to help him control that. He doesn't necessarily have murderous tendencies, but he can't feel stuff. But he's married.
I think that's an AMA, right?
I don't know what that is.
Where people ask him questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an AM. I read that.
Yeah, because you shared it to me.
I'm sorry if my brain isn't working well.
And then he says he sees people as objects.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And then his wife is like a TV, and then the TV brings him joy. That's why they're married, and he likes her, basically. And I wouldn't say he respects her, but he treats her right because as a TV, quote unquote, she brings him joy. But like for other people, depending on how he sees you is the level of respect he has for you as a person. So it's kind of like that. And I feel like it's the same for
him.
Lam Kor-wan. Yeah. Because he talked to the victim and he felt nothing.
Nothing at all. What a fucking loser.
Dweeb. But I'm having goosebumps by the fact that he is still alive.
Yeah.
He's actually 64 years old.
64 years old. And still alive and ugly and still a loser.
How does his family feel about this?
I don't think they want to comment on it.
Like, as a parent, how would you feel like?
As a parent?
Yeah.
God, that would be so hard. But I feel like his dad probably disowned him.
Wow, and it was his fault? Because
he beat him up before when he was a kid. So I think it's easy for him to be like, oh, ew, you're not my son. Ew.
It makes sense.
That's on your mother's side.
Oh my god. Yeah, you think I'm trying to psychoanalyze this because there's like, oh my god, yeah.
It's probably
Do
that.
You think it's like
his dad's probably like, he's murderous because he got it from your side of the family.
Yeah, he's probably blaming the mother.
And he's probably like, I knew that kid was a little shit from the beginning. That's why I fucking beat him up. Guys, if you have a kid who's weird, please do not beat them up. Ugh.
They're probably not even weird, just weird for your standards.
Yeah. Like, if you think they're not responsive or whatever, like, go take them to a child psychiatrist.
There's something called parent psychology.
Yeah, also that. Like, there's so many ways of not ruining your kid. Like, you wanted them in the first place. Why would you break them? I don't know. You can't return them, so find a way to fix them. Jesus.
Return to sender.
Right? You can't put them back into your wife's wherever children come out of.
I think it's also unfair, like, especially to the kid, because we never asked to get born.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the parents' choice, so I think it's the parents' responsibility as well to be like, I'm going to take care of you and be a good example just so I don't mess this shit up.
Yeah, exactly. And if your kid isn't responding to that, like, you're trying to be a good example. And I get it. It's frustrating if your kid isn't responding to any of the good shit that you're showing him. Then, like I said, take him to a psychiatrist before it's too late. Like, don't be in denial and say that, oh, maybe he's just lazy, or maybe he's just this and that, or like beat them up or whatever. Like,
there's nothing wrong with looking for help.
Yeah.
That's how you get better.
Exactly. And this wouldn't, like, probably, or I don't know what the cases are for psychopaths. If there's like a hope for them or whatever. If you're a psychopath, let us know.
Tweet us, but don't look for us.
You know, yeah. Don't. Yeah.
Just stay where you are. We can chat online.
Let us know how it is. If, like, you have ever talked to psychiatrists before, let us know how it went. At Creepy Combos. By the way, we're trying to create an Instagram account, but it's a nothing account. Creepy Combos at Instagram right now is nothing.
The last post was 2007?
Yeah.
2018? 17? Or 2018. I don't know. It was so long ago. It's just one post.
One post.
It's not even active.
Yeah. Not 0 followers. And, like, we tried to message him, but I don't think the person who owns that still has access to that account anymore.
Oh my God. Instagram, give it to us.
Yes.
Please.
So we're trying to find a way to create an Instagram post. We're going to be posting a lot of stuff. You'll see our faces a lot.
More of our faces.
Yeah, we're going to be posting our faces on Instagram because you probably won't see us in the streets because we don't go out.
We have no life. We're loners. We like our little bubble, and we can attest to that, especially to the awkward nights that happened to us yesterday, like last night.
Exactly. We don't know how to people around people.
It's just too much, okay? So, yeah. I have one question before we end this episode. How would you feel like if your sister or your brother is Lam Kor-wan?
Oh my God.
Like, you find out you guys share a same room, and then all this time under your bed you've got body parts, preserved body parts.
Honestly, I would be pissed. Like, I'm just trying to sleep here.
Would you rather they tell you so you're like in on the secret, or? Yeah,
I would rather they tell me so I can turn them over to the cops and snitch on them. I ain't got no problem snitching on people.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're family. You need help, so this is how it's gonna be, and I'm sorry.
But I think at first it would be like, oh my God, this is gonna be so embarrassing because people will know that, you know, your name will be slightly ruined with that thing because it's
linked.
Yeah, you're gonna be attached to that thing forever. So it's gonna be a confusing 10 minutes before I snitch on them.
Should I not? And then you get distracted, and then you go back to the thought of, should I snitch on them?
Could you imagine, like, if ever, like, you have a sibling who tell you, like, oh, I do this, I kill people, and you're like, oh.
I'd probably say, can I put you on our podcast and then tell the police?
You'd, like, act interested and be like, oh, so how does it feel?
Like, tell me more. Tell me everything.
Where do you hide everything? When did you do it? And
I have a feeling that it is most likely the second sister that would kill
Oh
someone
my god.
out of the three of us. I'm sorry. Or maybe I'm just saying that because Kyra edits. But also, I could most likely be it. Who knows?
Who knows, right? Oh my god. By the way, I looked up Lam Kor-wan's Lam Kor-wai? Lam Kor-wan. One?
Yeah. 2, 3.
I looked up. Oh, it's Lam Kor-wai.
Who's the Y?
I think Lam Kor-wan is the different serial killer, because the other serial killer in Hong Kong, his name sounds the same.
No, Lam Kor-wai is another serial killer. The one we talked about is Lam Kor-wan.
No, we're talking about Lam Kor-wai. Wait, yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
We're talking about Lam Kor-wan.
See? The other guy
the
is...
entire episode, I kept saying Lam Kor-wai.
There's no Lam Kor-wai even, because it's Lam Kwok-wai.
Jeez. I made a ship name for the two Hong Kong serial killers. What the fuck is wrong with me?
You know what? The best option for us to do is just end this before it gets even more confusing.
So guys, it's Lam Kor-wan, not Lam Kor-wai.
Because there's no such thing as Lam Kor-wai.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably someone... Oh my god, what if a person exists with that name and he's like, you just made me a serial killer?
I am so sorry.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry.
Please don't be offended.
If you have thoughts of killing people, please don't do it. And follow us in Creepy Conversations on Facebook with Kalai and Gabby, and then Creepy Convos for Twitter, and hopefully on Instagram. And then, yeah, that's it.
I don't even know what's our website?
Oh, Creepy Convos. It's creepyconvos.wordpress.com, I think. So.
Perfect. Thanks for creeping, you fucking creeper.
And remember, the government is always watching you when you put all those body parts in
the Tupperwares.
So don't do it. Bye.
Bye.